After the bushfires tore through a tight-knit community, there was only one patch of paradise left. Now, developers want to get their hands on that land, but locals say over their dead bodies.
It was a summer that changed Australia forever.
It's impacting back in this house right now.
Catastrophic conditions that turned apocalyptic. Small villages witnessed
We need to get out of here.
unfathomable horror.
I don't know, anything will be normal again.
We had fire everywhere, and I thought in those moments there were going to be at least 100 people dead.
This is Manana, about 3 hours drive south of Sydney, just over the water from Lake Conjola.
Yeah, you need to send at least 3 of your trucks over to Manana. They're about to get smashed over the side.
On New Year's Eve and again on January 4, its residents fought flames 20 metres high to save their village. And they did, just. All homes are standing, but its bush was burnt beyond recognition.
This is where the hottest part of the fire came through here.
The scorched surrounds are now covered in a deceiving blanket of regrowth.
It gives a false opinion when you see a little bit of green like this. It's actually not what it was. It's nothing like it was.
No, there's nothing left of the animals or the birds or anything like that.
You can't hear a thing.
No.
There's green coming through, but there's no life. The
Bill,
people that go
Colin
out
and Charlie are volunteer firefighters who stood in the path of the towering inferno.
It's a bit like, I imagine, Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
Yeah.
It's like a complete annihilation. Right?
Yeah.
Now, they're ready for round 2.
The community is still fighting, but it's no longer a blaze on its doorstep, it's bulldozers, as it faces what it says is the unthinkable prospect that the only piece of unburnt bush could be flattened.
What are we doing as RFS people out there trying to save this bush when Aussie Homes can come in here and just rip it all up? Save the bush! Save the bush!
So this started about 4 weeks ago, where we had word a few weeks earlier than that the developer was going to come in and start clearing. From that day, members of the community have been out here doing our best to try and delay things. To say thank you, everybody, for coming
Louisa
out.
Bastos is part of Manana Matters, a group pushing to stop the development. The Currowan fire decimated 310,000 hectares of South Coast bush. This is all that was saved. Nearly half of that is earmarked for the Manana Beach Estate, a 20-hectare block to be bulldozed for 180 residential lots by Sydney-based developer Aussie Homes.
What's your message to the developer?
Go home, leave us alone, let our wildlife recover.
Why is this so important to Manana?
Oh, we've just all been through like a really horrible time through the fires and things, and it's just the only little bit left. You know, the animals need it, the vegetation needs it, and we just need a break, really.
It's still so raw, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Times change, so must our choices. Is that your message?
Yeah, it's not just here, it's everywhere.
The development hasn't just popped up. The block was rezoned for homes in the 60s. The development approved in 2008. A subdivision certificate was issued to Aussie Homes last year. A fortnight ago, fences went up, a court order temporarily halting land clearing. The developer has now agreed to give 2 weeks' notice before starting any work. It's an investment everyone understands is impossible for Aussie Homes to just walk away from. If all 180 lots are sold for the starting price of $300,000, that's a $50 million turnover. Saving the land has become political.
You can't blame him for asking for a high price or for just terms compensation. The story here is just...
Amanda Findlay is Shoalhaven's mayor. She says there are 3 options.
There's revoke the approval, there's buy out the land, or there's put a moratorium on the development for a period of time until the bush grows around that block and that people start to actually physically and mentally heal from the trauma that we've been put through.
But responsibility for a buyback is being pushed between local and state governments. The federal government can intervene if threatened species are identified. Time is running out.
The goalposts have shifted, haven't they?
Pre-bushfire thinking does not apply in a post-bushfire world. And so the whole thing needs to be looked at again, and it needs to be assessed within the framework of what the world is today, not what the world was like in 2008. We had 2 trucks, average age 70, and we worked 17, 18 hours days, and this was the block that we were able to save. And it soon dawned on me when I realised the extent of the damage, that basically all of Conjola National Park had been destroyed, that this just was the only thing that was left that was completely untouched. And to think that now it's going to be destroyed is just absolutely heartbreaking to myself and all the other volunteers that fought so hard to save it.
And they say it's a huge threat to the wildlife taking sanctuary in the block.
Why is this land so precious to you?
I think probably because there's nothing else left. How complete the devastation is when you walk in there, you have this feeling of it's how it was before, and it's really emotional. It should be there for everybody. It should be left for everybody there. Yeah. Not bulldozed into dust.
The beaches and the bush are the South Coast's playground. What's left is now a symbol of survival to a group of locals who have been to hell and back.
We knew that eventually we would get the fires out. And we also knew that the forest would start to recover. But the thing is that when this gets destroyed, it's gone forever. There's no recovery whatsoever.
Aussie Homes says it is open to a buyback, but there's been no serious offer put on the table yet. For the community's sake, they need to do better.